Baldur's Gate 3 is split into 3 separate acts, each containing its own mysteries, quests, enemies, friends, and powerful items. In this video, we explore the city in Act 3, uncovering hidden treasures, interesting locations, and valuable secrets. I'm your host, Spooky Pops, so sit back and enjoy the journey as I reveal 10 great secrets of Baldur's Gate. We'll start with perhaps the best and most well-hidden secret of the 10. There's a ship near the Grey Harbor docks in the lower city that holds powerful cargo. Make your way onto the ship from the dock, and the cargo is located at the end of the ship. Click into the cargo and you find 6 Mind Flayer parasites that can enhance 6 abilities of your Mind Flayer powers. Now, my party did pass a passive skill check that alerted me of the cargo, but maybe it is unnecessary. I am not totally sure, but if my party had not detected something there, I most likely would not have found it. Another important note is that the ship is in a restricted area, so it becomes much easier to access if you have already eliminated the Steel Watchers. Regardless of how you obtain them, it's rare that you find so many parasites in one location. Usually the game gives you each parasite one by one, so to have 6 at your disposal all at once is incredible. There are plenty of restricted areas to your party that can easily be accessed with Invisibility. Although the Invisibility spell could also work, I chose to use Astarion as my invisible scout, searching through a restricted area while remaining innocuous and hidden from all guards. This method can help you in a variety of ways. Getting past guards at the bank grants you access to an enormous amount of valuables. Using it for various hatches and doors that otherwise would force you to fight grants you free access to alchemy supplies, weapons, armor, gold, and other items. The best way I found use for this trick was with quests. For example, there is a group of gnomes who wants you to blow up the Steel Watcher foundry. Instead of arduously working your way through each set of Steel Watchers and powerful guards, you can send an invisible Astarion all the way through the foundry with the bomb. He can slip past guards and Steel Watchers unnoticed, lockpick doors, and plant and trigger the bomb inside the warehouse. Note that to make this invisibility trick work over an extended period of time, I simply enabled the turn mode so Astarion would stay invisible for as long as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if Larian added in a way to detect invisibility in certain locations because sneaking into restricted areas is almost too powerful. It could also come in handy with the quest Stop the Presses. Before you eliminate the Steel Watchers, however, you can certainly use them to your advantage. For example, as I was traveling through the lower city, a random group of people triggered a fight with my party. Instead of facing them head on, there was a group of guards slightly behind my position, so I backed up my entire party until the group of guards and Steel Watchers joined the fight on my side. And boy, do the Steel Watchers pack a punch. Leveraging your Steel Watcher advantage is an easy way to overcome any group who opposes you within the city. Note that I didn't explore all the options when we made our initial contact with Gortash, but I chose to make an alliance with him, which resulted in him promising Steel Watcher protection. So I don't know whether or not you have to be aligned with Gortash for this trick to work, but just something to note in case it doesn't work out for you the way it did for me. Although the game does provide a substantial amount of camp supplies through looting, it can be frustrating if you need to take a long rest without the proper amount of supplies. I imagine that on the Tactician difficulty level, this point becomes even more true. In comes the room at Elfsong Tavern to your rescue. The tavern can be located in the lower city. Moving inside the main area of Elfsong, speak to the barkeep about the possibility of renting a room in the tavern. He gives you the top floor for a measly 200 gold. You now have access to the top floor as a new campsite where you can access your traveler's chest, go to sleep, and buy camp supplies from the dumbwaiter at the far end of the room. Note the dumbwaiter is only open at night. This room can be a lifesaver for you and your party. Next, we have a rather interesting secret at Devil's Fee, located at the north side of the lower city. If you visit the spooky store early on in the story, the shop is not particularly interesting. The overeager shopkeeper only has a variety of items that aren't that great. However, if you visit the store later in the story, and I am not sure how much later it needs to be, there are 2 dialogue options that were previously hidden. First, you are able to ask to see the good stuff that she has available for trade. The shop suddenly has a variety of epic and powerful items that are really good. Second, there is also a dialogue option that inquires about her relationship with Gortash. This dialogue puts you on a really cool questline that has you stealing from Raphael the Devil. I played around with my saves to see when these dialogue options became available. I can confirm the dialogue option is not there when you first enter into the lower city. The two other saves I checked were after I eliminated the Steel Watchers and after I killed Gortash. At both of these time points, the dialogue options were indeed present. So just keep an eye on the Devil's feed to see when you have the chance to access this dialogue. Baldur's Gate has a number of locked doors and hatches where you can discover weapons, armor, potions, and even an additional Mind Flayer Parasite. This home is located southwest of the lower city central wall waypoint. Behind a locked door and hatch, the basement is filled with dead bodies and bloody limbs, which is most likely the work of a serial killer. Potentially, it is the same assassin you interact with in the quest Investigate the Murders. Regardless, the serial killer has a lot of cool items and equipment in his basement, including a parasite located on one of the tables in this room. If you have opted into using your Tadpole Mind Flayer powers, this location is the perfect way to gain a free spell. One of the reasons Baldur's Gate 3 is so good is the dynamic nature of the game. Every choice has consequences that change the game's narrative. While it is one of the best parts of the game, it is also challenging for content creators to explain exactly what you can expect. One instance is the group of gnomes located in a cave on the city outskirts. Getting into the upper city was easy with the help of gnome friends that I saved back in Act 2. They threw a rock at one of the Steel Watchers guarding the upper city, which allowed my party to slip through without any incident. Does this event happen for everyone? I'm not really sure it does if you didn't save these gnomes back in Act 2, but maybe. Either way, if you visit the gnomes down in this cave, they can provide you with a bomb for the Steel Watcher Foundry that I showed earlier in this video. Again, I'm not sure if this bomb is available to everyone, but it certainly is if you save the gnomes who were imprisoned in the Moonrise Towers. There are also items and equipment you can grab in the cave. Not necessarily a city secret, Flymm's Cobblers is a store near the center of the lower city. At a superficial glance, you may think it's not worth much of your time. However, you can find an expensive portrait of Gortash on the wall, which begs the question, who are these store owners? Talking with one of the storekeepers, you realize these are Gortash's parents. The other cool item you can find in this store is a journal upstairs in a locked chest. The journal is the initial conversation between Orin and Gortash where they plan to steal an artifact that would help control the mysterious Elder Brain. The journal reveals they had help from Helisk, who is actually the shopkeeper of the Devil's Fee. Nothing at the shoe store is pivotal or game-changing, but I find it really cool that Larian connected a random book you can read in the Cobblers store to a quest in another area of the map. I also think it's interesting to learn more about Gortash as he is one of the principal villains in the game. I mentioned getting into the bank basement and vault earlier in the video, but another interesting part of the counting house is a basement room which contains multiple vaults secured behind a puzzle. Without revealing too many spoilers, there is a quest that takes you to this location, but there are different ways to get into the vault. You can fight your way in, you can use invisibility to gain access to the vault. Either way you get into the bank, this puzzle awaits you and your party. I'll be honest, I haven't spent much time with this puzzle as I just briefly explored this room while doing another quest, so if you already know how to solve this puzzle to access the doors in this room, feel free to share in the comments below. Off the top of my head, you could probably fly your way around this spell. As you pass a building near the fireworks store, you might have heard the NPCs discussing how badly it smells around this area. Well, there is a reason for the smell. Philgrave's mansion is a spooky place of necromancy and diabolical experiments. Although there is no front door to this mansion, there are two ways of getting inside. The first entrance is on the right side of the mansion if you are looking at it. Through a series of skill checks, a hidden door is revealed on the side of the house. Inside, you can find a group of undead and a necromancer. There are valuable items inside, including alchemy supplies and other equipment. There is also a second floor and a basement, which is actually the entry point when entering from the left side of the mansion. There is a hole in the wall you can enter if you have the means. To gain access to small openings like this one, you can either use a small character in your party, a shapeshifter, or a spell. And those are my top 10 secrets of Baldur's Gate. I love how Larian designed Baldur's Gate with many secrets, hidden areas, and a plethora of interactable NPCs. Make sure to hit these secrets when you travel around the city. The best part about Baldur's Gate is there are countless secrets to the city, so have fun exploring. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 content. That's it for me. Spooky Pops out.